So you finally played your first games of Warhammer 40k, and you had a lot of fun with it. However, you learned that the one piece of terrain doesn't give you much variety in your different games and your tactical decisions. I'm going to give you one piece of terrain you can build super easy and to get started, the L-shaped ruin. Now, the L-shaped ruin is a super easy, iconic starting point for a lot of new players. In it, you're going to need some glue, some scissors. I recommend you get some corrugated cardboard and a single layer cardboard, and of course a model for scale. I like to also bring in tape just so it makes it a little bit easier to tape everything down while it's gluing and drying. To get started, you're going to use the corrugated cardboard to be your actual ruined wall, and you're going to have the single ply cardboard to be your base. Make sure you have some glue on your hands and also the scissors on your hands and that model for scale for this bit. The tape is there again just to hold it down for gluing. The plan is we're going to cut out a little bit and then we're going to bend it in to make a 90-degree angle. So we'll utilize that model just to see what scale it is. I'm using a Space Marine just because that's one of the most common things played with in Warhammer 40k. You're going to take some time and do some cutting. If you want to draw out a line to say, all right, this is how I want my ruined wall to look, you can, but just make sure that when you're doing your cutting or your peeling of the walls, you're cutting it tall enough so that way the Space Marine is still covered by the wall. One thing I try to do is make sure that I kind of have more of a rounded or flat edge at the top where I'm planning on bending, so that way it actually shows that 90-degree angle and the walls can join together. Right here, I'm putting down that masking tape to make it a little bit easier just to keep the walls in place and keep that 90-degree shape without having to worry about the glue not drying fast enough. Now, I like PVA glue because a lot of times it dries on pretty clear, it's cheap, and you can pick it up everywhere. After drying, it's time to put your base coat of paint on there, and I'm just going to use cheap black hobby paint that I got from Walmart for 50 cents. Put that bad boy on there, you're going to add some water, and you're going to use a nice fat brush. As you see here, I'm using a makeup brush. It's an old one from my wife that unfortunately went through the washer and the dryer. She wasn't too happy about it, but hey, it gave me something else to throw at my hobby. You'll make sure you go through and get every nook and cranny of this. Make sure it's all black, especially right in the corner piece where the 90-degree angle is at. Where you can, make sure you get on the top of the ridges so that will actually bleed down into the corrugated cardboard and not look like it's sticking out and it's actually a piece of cardboard, but it gives you some nice actual shadows within it. You may want to go through and add a second coat of paint as well, just because sometimes the cardboard color still might shine through and you want to make sure this thing is completely black as you can. After that, it's time to let them set and dry. From there, I'm going to use some cheap gray paint, again 50 cents Apple Barrel that I got from Walmart, and you're going to put it down on there. I recommend only getting a little bit on your brush, unlike right here where I'm completely dabbing it and filling up those bristles. Not a very good idea, because we're going for more of a dry brush effect. You want to start from the top and kind of go down like this. Then you're also going to start hitting your brush from the top ridge and painting down with it. What this should do is give you more of a textured or shadowed look to your walls, giving it more of a concrete or natural material rather than just a flat gray look. Yes, the streaks are supposed to be there because it's supposed to look like caved in walls or little chunks taken out of it. Then you're going to go focus on the coloring the base or the ground. Use whatever colors would match your game board. My game board that I have here has a lot of browns and a lot of reds inside of it, so I want to try and go for that mix here. I didn't quite get the blend that I wanted, but it was a start, and it was something just to make sure that you can tell a difference between the ground and the base of this board versus the actual walls themselves. Paint yourself all the way around. You might need to add a second coat to it, but there are other ways to make it a little bit more gussied up and a little bit more pretty. I'm just going for the cheap and the quick way here, so you guys can start getting some terrain pieces on the board as fast as possible without having to worry about too many techniques. After you've had the chance to let them dry, it's time to start cutting them apart from the rest of the bases. You want to make sure that none of the other cardboard looking color comes through and that you have your bases set the way you want them. They're great for line of sight blocking. I've used in my games of Kill Team and Warhammer 40k, and honestly I'm pretty happy with them. They can be used in any kind of skirmish or wargame setting across anywhere. They're easy to fit into different pieces of board terrain or any other setting you might happen to have. And hopefully this helps you all out with creating a nice and easy piece of terrain for your games. Thank you guys for taking a second to watch the video, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.